Okay, guys, so we're looking at three types of angle pairs today. The first one that we're looking at is called complementary angles. So complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. A lot of times you will see a box in the corner, which indicates that this entire angle is a right angle. Right angles are 90 degrees. So we know those two interior angles that are acute will add up to 90. So we set up an equation. The first angle is 3x plus 7, plus the second angle, which is 6x plus 2, and those two angles should add up to 90 degrees. Okay? So from here, all we're doing is combining like terms and solving for x. Okay? So first I'm going to combine terms that are like on the left side. 3x plus 6x is 9x. 7 plus 2 is 9. And the right side is staying the same, it is 90. From here, remember our goal is trying to get x alone, so to get rid of the plus 9, we do the opposite and minus 9 on both sides. 9 minus 9 is 0, so we have 9x equals 90 minus 9 is 81. And our last step to get x alone, to get that 9 in front out of the way, is to divide both sides by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1, so 1x. 81 divided by 9 is 9. So we have solved for x. We have done this part of the problem. But then it says, find the measures of both angles. So in order to do that, we take x and we are going to plug it into those two expressions. This first angle is 3x plus 7. But instead of x, I am plugging in 9 because we had just found out that x is 9. So this first angle, 3 times 9 is 27. 27 plus 7 is 34. This angle is 34 degrees. Now let's do the other angle. Okay? So we have 6x plus 2. And once again, we know what x is. We already solved for it. X is 9. 6 times 9 is 54. Plus 2 is 56. How can we check that those angles are correct? Add them together. And they do in fact equal 90 degrees. So check, we know that they're right. We solved for x correctly. We plugged it in correctly because those two angles do add up to 90. That's what complementary angles are. They add up to 90 degrees. The next example we're going to look at are what are called supplementary angles. These angles add up to 180 degrees. Okay, you can see it right here. And what we're going to do is set up an equation. These two angles, ABD and DBC, form a line, a straight angle. So they should add up to 180. So when we write our equation, we're going to take the first angle, which is 7y minus 17, add it to the second angle, 3y plus 8, and they should equal 180 degrees because they are supplementary. Just like in the previous problem, we are going to solve, in this case, solve for y by combining like terms. So 7y plus 3y is 10y. And then we have negative 17 plus 8 is negative 9. And they equal 180. We're still solving. We haven't gotten y by itself yet. Okay? So to get rid of the minus 9, we need to add 9. And we've got to do it to both sides. So now we have 10y equals 189. and then we divide both sides by 10. Y equals 18.9. And yes, it is totally okay to get a decimal. Last step is, what is it asking for in this problem? It asks us to solve for y. We did that. But now we have to find the measure of angle ABD. So angle ABD, is this large obtuse angle. So I'm going to plug in the value we came up with. Okay? So we came up with 18.9 for y. So 7y minus 17. And we're going to plug in 18.9 for y. So 7 times 18.9 minus 17 is 115.3. So now we've done the two things it asked for us to do. We've solved for y, which was 18.9, and we used that number to find this obtuse angle, and it was 115.3 degrees. All right, so we have talked about complementary angles, which add up to 90. We talked about supplementary angles, which add up to 180. The last one we need to look at is vertical angles. Vertical angles are what happens when you have two lines intersect each other. So we have a line intersecting, we have this line intersecting this line. And angles that are opposite to each other are equal or congruent. Okay? So when you write your equation, it's like you're setting those two things equal to each other. So 2x plus 40 is the first angle, and it should be equal to the angle opposite it, 5x plus 16. Now, when you're solving this kind of equation, we have x's on both sides. There's no way I can solve for x when they are on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of one of them. So I'm going to minus that 2x. And if I do it to one side, I've got to do it to the other. So we've got 40 equals 5x minus 2x is 3x. Don't forget to bring down the 16. And if we are solving for x, we need to get rid of that plus 16 by minusing it on both sides. 16 minus 16 is 0. So we've got 3x on the right, and 40 minus 16 is 24. Lastly, divide both sides by 3, and x is 8. So we have found x. Yay, we did that part. And find the measure of angle QRS. Remember, these angles should be equal. I would venture to try and measure both of them and make sure that they are equal. Then you know you solve for x correctly. So we're going to go ahead and look at these two. Okay? QRS is this angle right here. So 2x plus 40. If x is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, plus 40 is 56. So this angle is 56 degrees. Now just to check to make sure we're right, I would plug it in the other one as well. 5x plus 16, x is 8. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 16 is also 56. So really, we were checking our work. Those two angles came out equal or congruent, just like they were supposed to. So that means we solved for x correctly. We plugged in our values correctly. So those are our three angles. Let's review again. Complementary means they add up to 90. Supplementary means they add up to 180. And congruent, vertical angles are congruent to each other or equal measures. Okay? If you have any more questions, guys, make sure to come to tutoring next week.